turn the record button on and go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining me. Main purpose of today was just kind of a meet and greet to make sure everybody is familiar with how to use Blackboard. That you've been able to get on our course shell and look at all the things that I have for you. Here are the weekends that we're going to be meeting, Saturday and Sunday, September 16 and 17. So that'll be that 2 weeks from. It's 2 weeks from this weekend. We'll be meeting on Craig 209 on main campus. We'll use Zoom this fall. We'll use Zoom 4 times to do our case studies. And we'll get together for 6 days, 3 weekends. And then the weekends that we don't have class or Zoom, I had discussion boards for you. And so you had your one. And so pretty simple, fairly organized, I hope. There's my information. What's important about the syllabus is I have our activities that we're going to cover in each of our class sessions. They're right here. So you could print this out if you wanted to, and I also have it in a document form under syllabus where you can go in and get this, so you'll know what we're going to do every week. And then I have tabs over here on the left, so when you click on that, all these resources and materials that we're going to cover, I already have them preloaded here for you under the class sessions. So it's fairly well organized. You'll know everything that you have to do, you know, from day one, and you can see what we're going to do. I'm also going to invite Dr. Jeff Hamilton, the DEOL chair, in on that first Saturday when we meet, when we cover your consultancy project, which is in lieu of your dissertation. I'll have Dr. Hamilton come in and talk to us about that, and he will be there. I have organized these around the same meeting times that he's there, so if we have any questions, he's a good resource for us to have. Students sometimes have questions. My area, I have no area of expertise, but what I do is I will have you will have me later in the program. I am the quantitative person. I'm the statistics person for this group. I also do this introductory course, and I will be your project helper for your consultancy. I'll have you every semester, so I'll help you with that. Most of these projects usually end up being qualitative, where you do interviews and observations of the organization that you choose to work with. But sometimes there is some amount of statistical analysis that goes along with that, and so I'm fairly versed in qualitative. My area of expertise is quantitative, so it usually works out pretty good that folks do a good job, and I'm able to give you some guidance along the way. But speaking to that consultancy project, before we get too far down the road, I'd like to suggest that you not do it at your place of work. Dr. Hamilton doesn't want them done in K-12 settings, and I would suggest on a private note that you don't do them in your church. Generally, from the students that I work with, and I've been working in this program for over a year now, and what I have found is this is a relatively new program. We're 3 years in, and one of the things that I have found is most folks that have problems with their consultancy, it's not because they're not hard workers, they're not on the ball, or that they're not planned and prepared. It's just difficult to do these in the place where you work or in your church. Because of the political ramifications, because you pretty much are doing a program evaluation. And doing them in a K-12 environment is probably not the best either. So we'll talk more about that when we get together face to face, but just kind of as a precursor to looking around for sites to do your consultancy, I'd ask that you try to avoid your place of business, K-12, or your church. If you can go somewhere else to another nonprofit, you'll be much better off in the long run. So as I said, I have our sessions over here on the left that we will be doing where it says class sessions 1 through 6. That's the Saturday, Sundays. And then the Zoom session case studies, I have them here. Those you will do on your own in Zoom groups. We'll talk about that at the first class session. But you will do those. You will do these case studies and present them. And so I'll turn you loose, and you'll present those at online at the appointed times when it's time for those to be due. But you'll work on your own, and then when we come online on that Saturday morning, you will present your group project. And so we'll talk more about those, but those will be due at the Saturday morning Zoom sessions. We won't cover them then, they'll be due then. So you'll have to get online together and work to have those ready for our study, our Saturday case studies. So just as a reminder, and so that there's no confusion, the Saturdays that we have our Zoom studies, I won't case studies. I won't be doing a presentation. You folks will be doing the presentation on those Saturdays. I have discussion board prompts that go along with the weeks that we aren't in class or we aren't on Zoom. And then the resources that kind of explain those are right here. So you go on to, this week you were to go on and do your discussion board 1, and next week you'll do discussion board 2. And that's where those prompts are, as it says discussion board prompts, and the directions to do them are under discussion board resources right next to them. The next thing is your case study projects and reflection Dropbox. And so for each of the case studies, you'll do a group presentation, but you'll also do a personal reflection. Now, that's not War and Peace. That's between 1 and 2 pages of personal reflections of what you learned, or strengths and weaknesses, or what you would do differently, or those kinds of things. And so you write so there's two things due at the end of each case study. One is the actual PowerPoint project that your group did, and it'll be the same for all of you. And then you'll have a 1 or 2 pager that you did that kind of reflects back on what you did and what you learned, or what you hope to learn had you learned it. It's pretty much up to you to reflect on that case study. Key indicators and final project, research project Dropbox, that's where that goes. That'll be explained more. And then your consultancy project, your milestone 1, where you identify your topic, your organization, your topic, that's where the Dropbox for that to go. So it's fairly simple in terms of everything is just laid out straight down the line for you here. Here's if you want a hard copy of the syllabus that's on the front page, you can click here and get that. I have it all put together for you in a weekly schedule in case you're one of those people like me that needs to see the big picture. I have put it together, all of these different facets of the course, whether it be the face-to-face classes, the case studies, or the discussion boards. I have put all that together in one document. I always just kind of print this out and put it in front of my desk where I can see where I am each week. I do the same thing just like you folks do. And so if this thing will open up here we go. So what I have for you here is this. So you'll know every week what we're going to be doing. And it's just that simple. It's just a quick and easy. And I have the dates. And so, and the due date on the work that we're along with what we're going to be doing that day. So I have every weekend from here till December 14th, I have it mapped as to where what time we're going to be meeting, where we're going to be, whether we're on campus, whether you're at home, or whether we're on a Zoom virtual meeting, and what the content of what we're going to be doing that week, and then the due date for the work that we did that week. And so there we go.
So Dr. Lamb, I do have a question.
Yes.
On the campus dates, when we're there all day, do we need to bring a lunch, or are we? No,
I'll give you time to go to. No, I'll give you time to go to lunch.
Okay.
I'm not that big a slave master.
Okay. All right.
You can go to. There's a cafeteria on campus. It should be open, but there are some restaurants nearby. If you choose to bring your lunch, that's fine. But I'm going to give you an hour for lunch that day. So
okay.
You can more than enough time to get someplace and back, and we can eat in the room. And I'll have breakfast for us. I'll bring biscuits and pastries and coffee. So I'll have breakfast, and so.
Okay, thank you.
and then y'all will figure out what you want to do for lunch, and then you can leave and come back, or you can stay there, but then I'll turn you loose in time for dinner. I did want to mention today that I do breakfast on the days that we meet. Both days I do breakfast. Those days I bring biscuits and pastries and coffee and juice and things, and so we'll have breakfast. And so you want to get there a little bit early. I normally have everything up and running by about 8:30, and then try to get started promptly at 9 o'clock. So I normally show up at 8 on those mornings, get everything set up, get the coffee brewing, doing all those things, and then we start eating about 8:30, talking and socializing. Then about 9 o'clock we get started. Try to get started as close to on time as we can. So I'll put out an email probably tonight or tomorrow reminding everybody, this week we have another discussion board, and then next week, 2 weeks we'll meet, and then I'll do breakfast each day. That's a good question, though.
Sounds good.
All righty. So all of the discussion boards, all the drop boxes, everything is linked to the grade center. So students always ask me about grades. I don't worry about grades. I just worry about the work. To that end, I have made everything worth the same amount. And so when I get in grade center, as I can see, you can see here at the top, each one of these things, you get 100 points for doing each of these things. And so there we go. One needs to be graded that came in this morning from David. But as you can see, everything's worth 100 points. And so you can figure out, the total number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 34. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, that's right. You have a possibility of 1,600 points. I try to do that every semester. To get your A in this class, you have to have 1,400 points. You know what? When you go to your grade center or my grades, you can see how many points you got. Now,
okay, I do have another question. I see no yes by my name there, so I'm wondering what did I miss?
Did you do your enrollment verification activity that was on the front page?
Oh, I did it for the consultancy class. So
all right.
I missed it for this class.
All right, just go back and do it on the 7th.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll get that done.
That's a good thing. So if Brandon is listening, Brandon, I was going to send emails on those tomorrow. They're due by Tuesday.
Okay, I'll get that done today.
So yeah, go ahead and do your enrollment activity, and your Blackboard quiz is under the Blackboard modules, as you sure it'll help you in the long run if you take that. It's not required. That's not part of the 1,400. The EVA and the quiz are not part of the 1,400 points you have to make. They're just the class assignments. We have 16 class assignments, and you have to make 1,400 points. So that means you don't have to make 100 on everything. You still make an A. I would hope that you would do them all, but you pretty much have to do them all. But I'm pretty lenient on the grading. If you do them, you pretty much get your points. So that's the grading system. Each item is worth the same value. They're all worth 100 points. You get 1,400 points, you made your A for the class, and on down the line. So it's fairly simple. That's 90% of 14 out of 16 it works out to be 90% or thereabouts. You get a 90%, you make an A. 80%, which I think works out to about 1,200 points. That's a B, and so forth. But again, I won't talk about grades or points again this semester unless you bring it up. I'm focused on the work, and I hope that you folks will be focused on the work, not on the grade. But some folks are, and that's okay. All right, that's pretty much it. I won't dive into any material today. I'll save that for later on, but I'll grade your work on a 24-hour turnaround. Had one come in this morning, but I hadn't graded yet today. But I'm get ready to grade here in this afternoon before I do my next Zoom session. So that's pretty much it. As I told you, about 15 minutes of your time today. But we'll organize more at our first class meeting, and I'll send an email out, and I'll remind everybody to do their EVA. I only got one that hadn't done it then, so remind everybody to do their EVA, that I'll be doing breakfast, and we can meet on campus. And Bruce, you brought up, it's good, you'll be given an hour for lunch. You can bring your own lunch, or you can go out to lunch. Now, remember that you're in Boiling Springs. Bruce, where do you live?
Kings Mountain.
So I mean,
yes.
There's a Hardee's there, a McDonald's, a Kentucky Fried Chicken, Taco Bell, and a Bojangles. That it's fast food, and then I don't know that if you order in, you can get Italian. Let me see. Yes. I had a question from somebody else I heard. Jessica?
No, I was saying there's a Subway.
Yeah, that's right. There's a Subway. I've forgotten about the Subway. I should eat there more. But yeah, there is a Subway. Heading back towards Shelby, there's a Subway on the left and a couple of other little pizza places. And so, you can order into some of these places, or you can run out and get it. But we'll have plenty of time to eat. As you can tell, that's a priority with me. We'll have plenty of time. I'm growing the Santa beard, and I've gotten started on it the last few days here. Putting on the Santa weight, it was already on, so I'll just be honest. But my wife, so I told her this is the last year of Santa Claus. I'm on a 3-year promise to do Santa Claus at church, community, and
that's good.
So this is the final year of that, and so my wife said, "I'm glad you look awful." I said, "I appreciate that, dude." I appreciate that. So, yeah, the eating is important. Sure that, as I said, I'll bring Bojangles biscuits. I'll bring bacon and egg and sausage and egg biscuits. I'll have muffins. I'll try to have some healthier choices. I got to get some grease in you to keep you awake. Listen to me all day. That'll be brutal. I do not envy you people having to listen to me all day.
You're fine.
That'll be awful. But we'll have a good. If nothing else, we'll have a good time. I sincerely plan. I hope it's not a plan. I sincerely plan for you to learn something.
So now there are only 6 in this class, Dr. Lamb?
That's all. We don't go more than 6 or 7.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Okay.
No, we split into another section. That's what y'all are actually an overage session for me, because when they got to 8, we start taking them out. You can't do this with a bunch of people.
Right.
This is not like an undergraduate or a master's class. This is too intense in terms of the work and keeping up with you and doing consultancy and all those kinds of things. Dr. Hamilton only teaches 2 classes, and he tries his best to keep all of them. We try to keep them at 6 or 8. We can't be having 15 people in these classes. There's too much work. There's too much stuff for us to read. There's too much interaction. We stay, we're with you all the time. And this is too labor intensive to have classes of 20 or 25. We don't do that. We're trying to make it a quality program, or they have made it a quality program. But especially when you get to some of the classes, just like when I teach statistics, there's no way I'd teach 20 people at a time. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Because I'm online every night or two, or on Zoom or email or on the phone with students all the time, because it's not easy to learn that stuff, and especially in a compacted amount of time. I mean, these are 6-hour blocks. These are 2 classes at once.
Yes.
And so when I'm not even the smartest fellow in the conversation. Y'all already figured that out, but I'm telling you, it's a struggle when I had doctoral statistics at Chapel Hill, I was a lot younger then, but I can tell you, the amount of work that y'all are going to do in 1 semester, we did in 2 years back then.
Wow.
I hate to be ugly and tell you.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
738 is like taking a whipping every day. for you and for me in terms of the amount of time that it takes to get through. We're going to do qualitative, quantitative, and program evaluation in one semester.
In one semester?
That was 2 years worth of work at Chapel Hill.
Wow.
We did Stat 1 and Stat 2 quantitative, and then we did a semester of qualitative and a semester of program evaluation. We did 4 semesters, 2 years. We're doing it all in one semester. But you're not writing a dissertation, though.
That's right.
Please remember that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to teach you it the way that we would be doing it for a dissertation. We'll be using Excel as our statistical program rather than SPSS.
Oh, okay.
You won't have to learn a whole new language, which is Pascal. You won't have to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to learn your Excel spreadsheets. I'll teach you formulas and functions, or you'll teach yourself mostly formulas and functions in Excel. And so our statistics book, our quantitative book, is tied to Excel and Excel spreadsheets and databases. And it's really user-friendly stuff to use, and our adults already know how to use that stuff. So you don't have to learn a whole new language. And so that knocks a semester off of it right there. So that makes it more doable. And then the qualitative work, at your level now, you know how to do interviews and observations. You've been doing them, you're professional. So you've been doing those for your professional life. So that doesn't take us as long. Program evaluation, most of you've had some sort of leadership positions. And so, the assumption is without having to teach you a new language and with your background knowledge and skills and the things you already bring to the table, that we should be able to get this done this semester. I have lobbied to break it into 2 semesters, but we can't figure out how to do that and get you out in 3 years. And so it would make things easier for students if we did that. It's not about me. It'd make it easier for y'all. But we'll get through it. Been very successful doing this. That's why they brought me in, is to do that part. And so it's been very successful, but I'm not going to pull your leg and tell you it's going to be easy. It's very time intensive when you hit 6:30, when you hit 7:38. But this semester, I'll break you in fairly easily. I won't wear you out too bad to start with. I'll save that in reserve for later.
Thanks.
By that time, you're financially invested and involved, and I can beat you thoroughly then. But I'll be pretty easy on you this semester. Won't beat you up and won't have a lot of outside reading and books and things to trying to induct you into the process. I want you to learn. I'd rather more deep than wide at this stage. Explore things more deeply than to try to. I don't want us to read 20 books this semester. 3's enough, but I want us to do a really good job of those 3. And now they'll start. As you move through the program, you'll be doing more and more books each semester. But there's a reason why we started you with 3 in the first semester. We want you to learn the depth that you need to get into these. And then they'll expand the selection. You'll have more. But, and by the time we've got you hooked and you're in for a penny, in for a pound, we'll spring 738 on you. But it'll be fun. I'm telling you, it'll be fun. So, Bruce, you live in Kings Mountain.
Yes.
And Jessica, where do you live?
I live in Bowling Springs.
You live in Bowling Springs. Okay. And we might even be able to get you out of Cleveland County and come to my place. I've got 2 places. One's in Forest City, just on the other side of Bowling Springs, but my primary residence and where I am today, I'm at Lake Norman today. I'm sitting here in the clubhouse on the water this afternoon.
Oh, that'd be nice. We can get up there. Yeah.
I've been bringing my classes here, and after you bring them here one time, we don't go back to Charlotte or Bowling Springs anymore. We just start coming here every weekend. They like it.
I bet.
Everybody likes it here. I have a really nice facility here. We're in our own place. We've got nice restaurants here. We've got a beautiful view of the water. We've got wireless internet. We have our own room, and it's a neat place. People like coming here. It's very relaxing, and no moving parts here. You can get focused on your work. And so a lot of people like to come here to Crown Harbor. My last 2 classes loved it here, the Charlotte class and the on-campus class. Well, that's something we can think about down the road. I'm sure some of you will run into some of the other students in DEOL, and they'll tell you of the coming to the lake. So that's an option for us down the road. But if not, that's fine too. So we'll have a good time, but more importantly, I think we'll learn something, and I think it'll be worth your time and money, career-wise and personal growth-wise, to be in this program. I really do. I'm extremely proud and honored to get to work in this program. I worked in the regular ed leadership program. I did 32 years in public school and then retired and have been at Gardner Webb full time now for, I guess, was it 7 years, 8 years, and they brought me over because I teach statistics in the doctoral program, and so they didn't have somebody. They'd just been kind of catching as catch can, and so they'd done a bad job, but they finally twisted my arm enough. But I am so pleased that I relented and came over to do this. I've had more fun doing this than anything else that I've done. I really enjoy it.
That's good.
I like it, and I like the students, and I like the material, and I believe that what we're doing is of value, and so I really like it. After 40 years in public school, it was good to get into doing something else, and I had a good bit of experience in organizations as well, and so works out pretty good. I enjoy it. So I hope you'll find it to be as fun as I do, and as enlightening and as educational. That's the idea. And so I've done my best to organize it in a way that makes it make sense for you and it's easy to follow. I don't want you to spend your time figuring out what to do. I want you to spend your time figuring out how to do it and then do it. I see no value in struggle for the sake of struggle. The struggle should be to get it all done. That you're so excited and you want to do so much. The struggle should be getting it done, not figuring out what to do. Just like I tell my master students, if you've read the directions and then you don't know what to do, don't sit there. Call me now. Okay. And that's the same thing for you folks. If you read the instructions and you don't know exactly what to do, it won't come to you like an epiphany now. Call me. Call Dr. Hamilton, pick up the phone. Before they had, text and email, they had this really wonderful invention where you could actually talk to people.
Yeah.
Call me. My phone number's on the front page for a reason. That's my, somebody said, is that your real number? Yes, that's my real number. You will catch me anytime, day or night, at that number right there. You see where it says preferred? I want you to call me. Don't sit and think, well, I'll just start working around this, or maybe it'll come to me tomorrow or whatever. It won't. If you read the directions and it doesn't come to you right away, and if you don't know where to start immediately, call me. The struggle should be to get it all done, not figure out what to do. There is no dignity in just sitting there being a nitwit. There's no dignity. There's dignity in struggle. No, not really. No, afraid not. The dignity in struggle is to get it all done and being an efficient organizationalist. Any other questions? I see my half hour. I promised it wouldn't go more. My part would be 15. I'd answer questions for another 15. So I think we're pretty much on time. I try to be cognizant and respect your time. And so, but you can call me anytime, email me. I'm always, nights, weekends, holidays. I know you're working adults. And so that's when you have questions or you have problems or issues. And so you will not insult me, email me on Labor Day or calling me or Saturday night or in the middle of the night. I'm pretty much, I answer questions and emails between 12:30 and 1 in the morning, and I'll start again usually sometime around 4:30 in the morning. I'll start answering them again. And so other than that, but you can send them in the middle of the night. I'll catch them first thing in the morning when I get up. So do not feel like that you're stuck and don't know what to do. That's you can't get behind in these programs. In low res hybrid courses, doing a 2-course block together like this, you can't get behind. You just can't. It just won't work out for you. So don't get behind. I tell people all the time, the easiest way to get out of a swamp, just don't get in it to start with. Mm-hmm. I have no solutions for you once you're in it. I'm not magic. And so we'll avoid getting behind, and that's how we'll stay on task. Is we'll avoid getting behind. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. All right, I will. I'll talk to you again next weekend. I'll come on again next weekend. We'll come back on if you have questions or problems. I'll be around, and I'll post this one on our page. I'll post this video and I'll send you a link. And so, not much content today, but just so everybody will know that I'm here. All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
I will see y'all all next week. Y'all have a good week.
Okay.
Go to
Thanks.
board two.
See you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.